Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening again. The, the note that I am very excited to be blessed to have is this note. I never expect to get it, but I did get it. I pulled a lot of effort in getting it, and finally I did it. This is the Federal Reserve Note, FRN, of the United States of America, $50. And what is the special about this note? It's a replacement note with a score of 4 serial number digit. This is very significant to me because this is the only oldest note that I have as a replacement note. In my whole collection, this is my oldest replacement or star note in my collection, and I've actually tried to find out how much it is cost before I bid. For its condition, I hope that it is in a very good shape. Probably I hope it is very at a fine condition to very fine condition. Even at fine condition, it is cost about its value. I would not say cost. Its value is about 5,500 US dollar. So the note is very significantly very high value. It's extremely rare. But if this is worthy to become very fine condition, it will go up to 12,500 to 13,000 US dollar, 5 figures. And I don't have any notes in my collection has such a high value note other than my People's Republic of China first series and second series. Those are the one that I have is about fetching about 30 to 40,000 in the collection. I got this one for about a hefty price. I will not want to disclose how much I got this one. But yeah, I'm treating this one probably a long-term investment banknote. A long-term investment banknote. I would like it to be my collection, but in the meantime, savor it. Feel proud to have it, and then eventually when the time comes, I would be willing to sell this note to anybody who wants it. Now, sadly, most of the buyers are mostly American, so we go to America, and people would be more appreciative of this note compared to people who are non-Americans like me here in Malaysia. They might not appreciate this note. They will be thinking it's ludicrous, but hopefully there are people who are looking to collect US currency. They will realize how much this note is. I collect US dollars, so that's why I purchased this note as my investment and also as collection. Now, according to PMG, I don't know PCGS record, but I have seen the record number of graded notes, the amount of graded notes for this one. There were only 5. Only 5 notes were graded for this replacement note. This replacement specifically is 2B, means it's New York, which they started to use this system in this note as the Federal Reserve Bank's branch. So when I look into this one, yeah, it costs around that price. Most of the other notes like Cleveland, Kansas, replacement notes, they have been sold in auction house. They've been selling around 13,000 to 16,000 US dollar in around fine and very fine condition. And most of the condition that is being encapsulated by PMG, they are all at a low grade. Even for this one, the highest, also called top pop of this note, for New York, replacement note for 50. The highest is actually 35, the grade of 35. So hopefully I would get 30 or 25 ish. Majority of the notes that graded among all the five is 25, 20, and 8, if or 10, if I'm not mistaken. So knowing that in the whole world there are only 5 registered this note, and when I search for online for those notes, there are only 2 registered notes that I found is being sold. One is still selling in eBay. They're selling around 12,000 US dollar. That is the grade, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 25. Then another one in the Heritage Auction, 25, if I'm not mistaken, was selling around 16,000. This note. Now, depends on the period of time whether these notes are popular or not is another factor that give them the value of it. But knowing the quantity across the whole period and the whole world, graded, there are only 5, and hopefully I'm considering grading this note. I'm considering to grade this note. But of course I have to look at the price of the PMG. Now whether I go for local one or going for PMG, I think for this one is worth going for PMG, because I'm treating this not just purely for my collection, but I'm also treating it as my investment. Huge chunk of my saving is on this note, knowing this note is going to appreciate very, very well. I bought it in a very, very small amount compared to its actual market price. The bid was much better. Actually, in the bid, in the auction house bid, this was actually first came out same banknote, but probably because the buyer didn't pay, and that's why they re-auctioned into the last few auction period, which I won, and I paid, and I got it. It was much higher. It was way double than what I've won. So basically, somebody not paid came back, and then I bid, and it's almost half from what the previous bidder won. So it was very lucky for me to get this one. I actually wanted to bid for this, but it was way too expensive, way too much money spending on a single note. But when it came again, I determined to try to win this note, and luckily I won half from the previous bidder won. So it was very lucky for me. A huge saving on getting this note, and a portion of my money will be considered as investment, not spend, but as an investment. Now the next investment that I'm going to do is grade it and encapsulate it, knowing that the value of this note is very high. That's what I'm very worried. Knowing this note is worth more than 10,000 US dollar, I probably have to register it as unlimited walkthrough, which is the most expensive grading fee from PMG. So it became something that I need to get some advice from people, from the official dealers that deals with PMG, to seek their advice whether how much would that be cost to invest to grade it, because this is not just a regular grading of notes, because the value is the part where it makes it expensive. The rarity, and it's not rarity, it's the value of the note, and the market value is very high, 10,000 US dollar and above if it's graded as very fine. But if it's graded as fine, then it's about $6,000. I would say $5,500 to $6,000. Then it would be price will be a little bit more cheaper from unlimited walkthrough to slightly cheaper. I would say it won't be much difference. But yes, if I do this, it will cost me about another 1,200 ringgit just to grade it. Imagine that, 1,200 ringgit just to encapsulate and grade it. Thank God it is not. But if it's extremely fine, then probably it's worth it. 1,200 is much worth it. But knowing that it's very fine and then you have to pay 1,200 ringgit, I don't know. But of course, maintaining it raw like this, unencapsulated, is a risk of the condition being exposed to air and so forth, and it would damage the notes even further. Knowing this is very rare, extremely rare, I've been trying to seek advice from the people who are selling notes in United States. I've been sending the photos to them, the notes that I have, like this one, asking them how much is it worth it, and so forth. And yeah, they came back and said it's a very big note, very highly valuable note. PMG recorded only 5 of this, so yeah. Knowing this note is, I mean, to me this is a very special note. It's the crown jewel of my collection, I would say, at this moment of time. This is my crown jewel. Condition wise, probably I would say I hope it's very fine. Looking at it, my untrained eye looks like it is very fine to very fine, and I hope when it is graded it is very fine, then it's more than 10,000. If it's fine, it will be half of that. It probably around 5,000 to $6,000. Anyway, whichever side the value is, I bought way less than that, way less than that. You know, even how the point of how much I've invested in this note, it just comes out a question or some speculation. Is this a copy? Is this a fake counterfeit note? But looking at it, it's not. It's genuine, and the money that I paid for this or invest in this is mind blowing. I won't disclose how much I've invested this. Most of you could go and find out if you are very keen to finding out. But knowing the price that I've got and what is the market value, I've actually already got my return more than 3 or 4 times what I put in. So I'm very happy getting this note. Now, this note, let's just start at the front. It's a blue seal replacement note. There's no variation 1 or 2 for, like, as this type notes, they have variation from here. Variation 1, type 1 and type 2. Replacement note can only be found in the blue seal. Red seal doesn't have any replacement note, so that's clear. And of course the red seal is much more expensive and much more rarer, because they only printed for 1 or 2 years. It's a very limited time before they convert it to blue. Before they convert to blue seal. And as you can see, this is printed in 1914 series, authorized by Federal Reserve Act of what is it written here? Sorry, my eye can't see. Of December 23rd, 1913. So this was authorized in 1913, but they consider this series as 1914. So that's why it's written in 1914. Washington D.C., District of Columbia. The signature, I can't read. Sorry about it. I know this is Burke. If I'm not mistaken, it's John Burke. This one is, if I'm not mistaken, is D.F. Houston. If I'm not mistaken, D.F. Houston, something like that. But yeah, my cursive writing is cursive writing and cursive reading is a bit poor. Knowing in this age of time, most of us don't know how to read or write in cursive like this. But this is a signature, so even challenging to even read it. But this one is quite clear. I think it's John Burke. and this one, I'm probably thinking this is Houston, DF Houston. There is the Secretary of Treasury, and the John Burke. I can't read this one. It's the Treasurer of the United States. Now, the security feature for this note at that time is quite limited, I would say. The only security feature that you to of the material wise itself would be this luminescent, so-called this fibers, cotton fibers, and this colored fibers here. They're actually running through both sides, left and right of the note. So if you see something like this, it's one of the security feature of the banknote, because manufacturing the cotton paper to print this material with this kind of security feature is very difficult. Of course, today is very easy. As time passes, the counterfeiters will achieve counterfeiting. Then the bank has to, and the engravers and the bank have to upgrade their security feature of the banknotes. This is a battle that has been running since the beginning of the currency establishment for paper currency, since in China. Now, the back, one thing I do this feel disappointed is there's a lot of stain marks. But knowing this note is extremely rare, I don't mind for its condition, and how much I paid for it is damn worth it. So I don't mind the stain and so forth. You know, the condition wise is good. There's no tear from this note at all. But I did found there's a pinhole somewhere here, a very small pinhole. There's a pinhole here, a very tiny one. On this part of the video you can't see it, but if you put the lights behind, probably I can do that. Is it possible to see? Nah, even this is very difficult to see. But if you're in the proper lighting, yeah, there it is. You see that? At the below the bow tie there's a one line there. Now that is the pinhole there. It's quite small, but it is a hole, no doubt about it. So yeah, the condition wise, I'm quite worried it may not be very fine. Probably fine, but even that, I'm also very happy. Now the back is the... Now to me, comparing to the modern notes, I mean, it's unfair for me to compare with the modern notes with this note, because modern notes today, we see a lot of it are very beautifully designed, like, as I say, like, you know, compared to like this one from Italy, Raphael's work, the school of Athens. You know, comparing this and this is incomparable, to be honest, because due to the security features and so forth, they have difficulties on doing it. The reason, actually, a lot of the federal notes like this one and all the other denominations are quite empty at the back. And if you are comparing the modern notes and this series notes, the modern series is much more affluent, much more beautiful, much more craftsmanship. Compared to this one, this note looks very plain, dull, and simple. Very empty. There's no patterns anywhere. It's just two ships and a lady in the middle. And all of this, there's nothing. It's blank. Now the reason actually is blank for all this series denomination, from $5, $10, $20, $50 to the 100, at least to the 100. I haven't seen the 500 and above. All the notes are similarity like this. They have this left side and the right side empty. Now the reason is because of, again, as I said just now, is this fiber. You're supposed to be able to see the fiber through here. Alright? Especially we put it under the light or so forth, you can see the fiber going through here. So that is one of the security features that they provided. That's why it's remaining very empty here, so that actually people can tell and read the security features of the note. Now, For $50, the design of the note is very interesting. At that time, most of the notes they try to pick up something, a theme, you know, like we do most of the time. We do is national development. Most of the third world countries we use national development, progress, oil industry. Then you put it, if your country is selling oil, major export of oil, then you put the oil refinery or export of cars, you put on the factory of a car in the banknote, something signifies the country. This one, 50, they signify that the America has achieved creating the Panama Canal. At that time, they already started constructing Panama Canal, connecting the west coast and the east coast of America through Panama Canal. So you can see the ships here for trade, and then for military. This is a battleship. This is I think if I call it a merchant ship or frigate ship. And in the middle, in the island between the two seas of the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, is Panama. So this statue represents Panama. This lady is considered, her name is Panama. So we have trade, military might crossing across Panama, connecting both east and west coast of the United States, from Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean. That is the significance of this background they have created, as far as I discovered. Now the notes here are very difficult to read. These are basically condition of the notes, the laws and so forth. So I'm trying to read it out if I can. This note is receivable by all national and member banks and Federal Reserve banks, and for all taxes, customs, and other public dues. It is redeemable in gold on demand at the Treasury Department of the United States in the city of Washington, District of Columbia, or in gold, or lawful money. Oh, damn, it's very difficult to read now. Lawful money at any Federal Reserve bank. Basically, this $50 can be converted. You can actually, at that time, this $50, you can actually exchange this note with the federal bank, or any bank as is written here, either at the Washington D.C. or any federal bank. That is why they printed this little seal here, to indicate that you can change for $50 for gold coins, $50 worth of gold coins. Before the Confiscation Gold Act was issued out by the federal government, where they confiscate all the gold from the public. Those days, gold was still a very, very important commodity to represent a strong wealth in its currency backed. If you're asking me, is the currency backed? $50 worth of gold is more value. It brings more confidence to the people. So those days, the notes like this is just basically a certificate of paper saying that you owe me $50 of gold. Yeah, basically you owe me $50 of gold. So when I return this note to you, by right, I'm able to get $50 worth of gold. So that is what it is written at the back here. You can redeem the gold worth $50 at that time. And $50 at that time is a lot of money. A lot of money. So knowing this note, $50, replacement note I'm very shocked and very happy to have it. So yeah, my most proudest note of the year that I have catch, which I would consider this as my investment note. I'm gonna keep it for fun. Feel a bit happy and joyful. Then when I need the money or so on, I probably would sell it or go into reputable auction to be sold. This banknote. So yeah. So if you're so that's it for today. I have 3 parts today I've done in this video. Thank you very much. If you like, do subscribe if you want further information. If you have further comment and so forth, please do write it in. I do feel happy to answer any questions or receive any comments. But till then, I hope everyone is in good health and a happy day. Thanks and goodbye.